Hey guys, I'm Ian, I'm an idiot, and welcome back to an Idiot Talks F1 for what is my second episode. I've made a new graphic, an intro for the video, so hopefully that's not too bad. I'm not much of an artist, so hopefully it doesn't look too ghetto. But anyway, in this episode I thought, as we're in the mid-season break, it would be a good idea to look at some of the performances so far this season from the top six in the championship. So Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly. So yeah, basically the Merc, Ferrari and Red Bull boys. I will do a follow-up on this as well for the for Formula 1.5, or as we all know it, everybody else. So to make the video, I analysed the performances of all of the drivers over the first 12 races of the season, taking into account things like their quali positions, their race positions, and how many places they've won or gained throughout the season, comparative to their starting position in each race. So let's start by looking at quali. So in quali, Mercedes boys, Hamilton and Bottas currently have 4 poles apiece, with Hamilton having pole in Australia, Monaco, France and Germany, and Bottas having pole at China, Azerbaijan, Spain and Great Britain. So in the quali battle between the two, I mean, Hamilton hasn't qualified outside the top 3 all season, the only caveat being in Austria, where he had the penalty, which meant he started in 5th place. Actually no, I think he might have started in 4th. Yeah, I think he might have actually started in 4th. But then in contrast to that, you've got Bottas, a little bit more trouble with quali overall. His lowest qualifying has been 6th on the grid. So, you know, Hamilton's doing him there a little bit. Also, of note, Hamilton and Bottas are the only drivers this season to have taken pole who have then gone on to convert that pole to victory. So Hamilton, I think, has a 2 out of 4. 2 out of 4 wins from pole, so 50% conversion rate, and Bottas has 1, so 25%. If you look at the Ferrari pairing, Leclerc's leading that with 2 poles. He got Bahrain and Austria. Vettel's got 1 pole that he got in Canada, and that kind of translates to how qualifying's gone for the rest of the season for the pair of them as well. Leclerc's just been that a little bit better on 1 lap pace than Vettel over the season, I think. Then looking at Red Bull, well, it couldn't really be more one-sided, could it? Max is utterly decimating Gasly. I mean, plus as well, you know, Max is taking his maiden pole position in Hungary. I think he's like an average starting position of something like 4th, where Gasly's, I think he's averaging around 8th, which, considering he's in a race-winning car, you'd think that would be higher. But anyway, overall, just from qualifying, the top 6, out of the lot of them, I mean, Lewis has been the most consistent, followed by Bottas. Max is just a little bit further behind them on the 1 lap pace, but I think that's mostly to do with the fact that the Red Bull is just not quite there compared to the Mercedes, but it has been getting a little closer. So, you know, that'll be interesting to see if they can continue that trend for the rest of the season. I think Leclerc sits his next best in quali, just edging out by that little bit. And then, yeah, all 5 of them are just blowing Gasly out of the water. So that's not where he needs to be. He needs to be up there supporting Max. I mean, moving on to race performance, I mean, the obvious standout here is it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he's leading the championship because of it, but I mean, he's got 8 wins out of 12 races. I mean, and the 4 races that he hasn't won, 2 of those were 2nd place to his teammate, and then he had, what, a 5th in Austria, and then a 9th in Germany. I mean, in those races, he's only finished lower than his starting position twice, which was, you know, Austria and Germany. And I think overall the season he's had, he's lost 9 places, with 8 of those coming at the German Grand Prix, which is obviously easily his worst race of the season, probably his worst race of the last 4 seasons if you don't get any DNFs. Next best performer for race in race pace this season has to be Max. I mean, he's been consistent all season, but the last few races he's really come on strong. I mean, he's also the only non-Mercedes winner we've had all season, so, you know, yay for that. I mean, I'm a massive Mercedes fan, but the more competition we have up top, the better. And to be fair, he could realistically, I mean, had it not been for, you know, an inspired Mercedes strategy and a great drive from Lewis, he could be on 3 wins this season. But, you know, unfortunately that was taken away from him, but I say unfortunately, I celebrated it, but, you know, Mercedes fan, Lewis fan, can't help it. But anyway, I mean, Max's worst finish all season has been, I mean, 5th place, and I think the biggest thing for Max is the standout statistic from what I've looked at is the positions won and gained. All season he's only gone back 3 spaces from his starting slot, which is mega compared to all the other 5. And he's improved a total of 10 places, which is, you know, that is absolutely superb. So, but then again, what would you expect from Max Verstappen? The guy is just on it all the time. Sometimes a little bit too on it, but, you know, he's definitely matured this season. Sitting in close third for performance this season so far is Bottas. I mean, taking those 2 early victories certainly helped him. Unfortunately, he's not been able to maintain that level of performance for the rest of the season thus far in the same way that sort of Max and Lewis have, and that's cost him a little bit. I mean, his worst finishes this season is what, 8th in Hungary and then a DNF in Germany. And then it also means like his positions lost compared to his starting position is high, so he's lost 21 places when you look at the DNFs and stuff, and he's only improved 7 places. But he could, you know, he could be doing better in that Mercedes. Now, the next best from the statistics, and this surprised me a little bit, is actually Sebastian Vettel. I mean, he's yet to take a victory this season, but if it hadn't been for his silly mistakes in Canada, which cost him a 5-second penalty, and also when he was under pressure in Bahrain when he spun, I mean, he could have been on for 2 victories there. You know, so that's 2 victories that he's lost, which he could have got. That being said, I mean, what helps him, I think, in terms of what I've been looking at, is, you know, that stellar recovery drive that he had in Germany, going from 20th to 2nd. I mean, that was fantastic, and that's really sort of upped it a lot for him. So I'm hoping that means he might be getting back to starting to get back to his best, because we need that. Because what we need at the top is we need at least 305. We need Max versus Lewis versus Sebastian, and if Leclerc can get in there as well, even better. I mean, it'd be nice if we saw Bottas and Gasly, but, you know, Bottas I don't think has what it takes for a sustained assault on a campaign, and Gasly, whatever reason this season, just doesn't have it. I mean, which is a shame, because he was really good last year in the sister team. I mean, also with Vettel this year, he's given his starting positions, he's managed to gain 29 positions from his starting grid slot, which is not bad, but when you consider he should be higher up than he is, you know, that's not really that surprising. He's also not helped himself out a lot either, because of those silly mistakes like he made in Silverstone, plowing into the back of Max. I mean, he's lost 21 overall, I think 21 positions this season, which is, you know, certainly not what Ferrari need. Not if they want to beat Red Bull in the championship. They need to be consistent and sustain like that high level performance. But that's another discussion about Ferrari and pressure. Next on the list is Charles Leclerc. I mean, he let himself down with his DNFs in Monaco and Germany. I mean, both of which were unforced errors. I mean, yeah, Germany was really tricky conditions, and obviously they even caught out Lewis and God knows how many other people. But I mean, Monaco, he was just pushing too hard, and I know it's easily done at Monaco, but still, he was on for, you know, something decent, and he cost himself big time. He was also robbed a little bit in Bahrain, obviously because of the engine issues. I mean, that was almost a guaranteed victory. But that being said, that level of dominance that he showed in Bahrain, we've not seen that at any other circuit all season, I don't think. I mean, yeah, he's been fast in qualifying, like in Austria and everything. That was great. But come the race, where's it all gone? The Ferrari pace just isn't there at the moment. So yeah, he needs to try and improve that race pace, I think. Well, Ferrari does in general. And then but also in terms of where he started with his issues and everything, he's lost 15 places from his grid positions, and he's only gained 4. So he's probably gained some of the least of anybody out of these top 6. And then moving on to Gasly, who is, 6 out of 6, obviously in the standings. He's miles behind everybody in the standings. He's been soundly beaten by his teammate, I think, in every race this season, and in every qualifying session, maybe one, I'm not sure. I need to double check that. And certainly his performance is not where you'd expect it to be in a Red Bull, which has proven to be a race-winning car. I mean, like, Max could have won 3 races in that car. Obviously he's got 2, but the third was on. So yeah, Red Bull desperately needed to up his game if they want to take on Ferrari in the Constructors' title. I mean, in terms of position gained, I mean, given the relative performance of that car, I mean, and the grid slots he's been starting in, it's not a huge surprise that he's been able to make up quite a few places. I mean, he's made up 17, but he has managed to lose 14 places. So, swings and roundabouts there. I mean, there are. I mean, he makes those silly mistakes as well. Like I said in my last video, he overdrives and he makes those silly mistakes. I mean, in Germany, like when he drove into the back of Albon, I mean, why? What possible reason was there for that? He was gaining. I know, I'll go to the right, but I'll go slightly earlier than I did, and I won't crash, and I'll get the pass. Why he didn't do that, who knows? So overall, given the analysis that I've done, plus as well my own views and opinions, the way I'd rate each of these 6 drivers is like this. On the bottom of the pile, in 6th, it's Gasly, vastly underperforming in a proven race-winning car. Immediate improvement is needed. So Gasly's overall rating, C-, must do better. Next in 5th is Vettel. He should be much higher than he is. He's a 4-time champion. He needs to stop making the mistakes that he's making and putting that extra pressure on Ferrari, because pressure and Ferrari and Vettel are things that just don't mix very well, and it just doesn't go well for them. He needs to deliver more consistently. So Vettel's overall rating, C. In 4th, Leclerc. I mean, much the same as his teammate, he needs to stop making those silly little mistakes and concentrate on cementing himself as a #1 driver at Ferrari, especially if Vettel doesn't start upping his game. He can do it. We've seen what he can do in the lower formula, so we know he can do it. But overall rating for Leclerc, C again. In 3rd, Bottas. I mean, great start to the season, really strong start, but he's faded away recently. He needs to rediscover that early form if he wants to be successful in his fight to keep his Mercedes drive, or even to stay in 2nd in the championship. So there is improvement needed, but it's not been a too bad a year for him. I'll give him a B+. 2nd, we've got to give it to Max Verstappen. I'm going to call him Mr. Consistent. He's always there. He always does a bang up good job. He's always there in qualifying. He's always hounding whoever's in front of him on the road. He rarely gives up a position. He's tenacious. So I'm going to give him an A. And first of the lists is, you've got to give it to Lewis. I mean, if Max is Mr. Consistent, Lewis is Mr. Super Consistent. Again, he rarely loses a place. In the same way that Max is always there, Lewis is always there, always pressing whoever's in front of him. I mean, and that pressure this year is 3 times it's resulted in him winning the race. I mean, Bahrain, Canada, Hungary. I mean, the guy is just on fire, and it's going to take something extremely special to beat him, I think, especially this season. Overall rating for him, easily A-star. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you liked it.